First of all, the absolute sliver of land that was purchased legally by the Zionists in Palestine was utterly insignificant compared to the volume of land that was taken by force during the Nakba. By the early 1940s, legally purchased Jewish land was somewhere around 5 to 7% of the total area of Mandate Palestine, according to British Mandate statistics. Whereas after the Nakba, Israel ended up controlling about 78% of Mandate Palestine, which means that roughly 90% of what became Israeli territory after the Nakba was acquired through violent displacement and subsequent confiscation. Specifically, the absentee property law of 1950, which declared unilaterally that refugees who had fled or had been driven out by the invading Ashkenazi armies were declared absentee, and their land became the property of the Israeli Development Authority, which then sold it to the Jewish National Fund and the state. And second of all, even that 7% of the land that was purchased legally was not purchased from the people that were actually living on the land. It's not like the Zionists went door to door to every farm in Palestine that they wanted to buy and made a fair agreement with the people that they were taking the land from. That isn't how it worked at all. No, instead, surprising nobody, the Zionists decided to use the most sleazy, sneaky, bureaucratic, underhanded way imaginable to steal the land out from under the people who were living on it. Because of the lax registration requirements, these families could just walk into their registrar's office and claim ownership of enormous tracts of Palestinian farmland in their own names, effectively seizing the legal rights to the land from the Ottoman government for pennies on the dollar. Fast forward 50 years, World War I is over and the Ottoman Empire has collapsed, but the land registry survives. And all of those absentee landlords who had been sitting on these paper titles for land that most of them had never even been to suddenly realized that they had something that the new Zionist invaders desperately wanted. To give but one example, the Sursak family of Beirut sold tens of thousands of acres in the Jezreel Valley, home to some of Palestine's most fertile farmland, which meant that thousands of Palestinian farmers in 22 different villages were evicted from land that their families had lived on for generations. Compensation, when it was paid at all, came to about $17 per person being evicted, which translates to about $300 per person in today's valuation. And especially for agricultural families whose entire livelihoods were dependent on the land that they had been working for generations, $300 was not nearly enough to replace what was being stolen from them.